Cyrix Processors was founded in 1988 in Richardson, Texas by Tom Brightman and Jerry Roger. It designed and outsourced some manufacturing to Texas Instruments and IBM. It started as smart coprocessors for 286. They studied the functions of Intel products and made their first CPU. Cyrix passed MET 83D87 and 83S87 in 1999 that were pin compatible with Intel 8387. They didn't support asynchronous operation but had power-saving features. In 1990, a new processor, EMC87, FastMat CS82S97 in 1991, best upgrades for 286 processors. In 1992, they stepped up the game with upgrades for 386 CPUs. They were called 486 SLC for notebook, 486 DLC for desktop. Cheaper drop-in replacement for Intel 386 chip, good performance for the price, better than Intel 386 and a bit lower than Intel 486. In 1993, CS486S, a true 486-pin compatible CPU, and its successor CS486DS, CS486DS2. Cyrix made a deal with IBM to manufacture CPUs in 1994, and IBM sold some of them with their own brand in exchange for letting Cyrix using their production facilities. Cyrix 5X86, an improved 486 to extend the life of a 486 compatible motherboard. The most powerful among them was the IBM 5X86C that had maximum overclock 133 MHz. Its performances were between 486 and a Pentium. Cyrix C86M1 P5 socket compatible processor, competitor to Intel Pentium 120 133 MHz in integer performances. It outperformed the Pentium because it had technical features more similar to what would become the Pentium Pro. New marketing name based on performance rating developed by Cyrix and AMD, since a C86 running at 133 MHz was faster than a Pentium running at 166 MHz. The C86 was marketed as C86 P166 Plus, but Intel wanted to change the P rating system because buyers mistaken it for Pentium rating instead of performance rating. The original C86 it ran hot and its floating point performances were bad. Its evolution C86L had lower heating but also lower performances. Unlike previous 3D games, Quake used a pipeline Pentium FPU to do perspective correction calculations in the background while texture mapping, effectively doing two tasks at once. This would not have been a big problem for the C86 if by that time Quake had a fallback to do perspective correction without the FPU, as in, for example, the game Descent. However, ID Software chose not to include this. Quake also lacked the option to disable perspective correction, thus eliminating that potential speed boost for FPU-weak CPUs. While AMD K5 and Intel Pentium played the game pretty well, Cyrix processor was terrible. In 1996, Cyrix developed the Cyrix C86MS that added MMS instruction set and a Liger L1 cache. Also in 1996, Cyrix released the Media GS, a CPU with integrated sound and video on one chip, based on the 586 core running at 120 or 133 MHz. Even if it was based on an older design, Its low price made it quite successful in cheap computers, being the best choice in entry-level systems from Compaq, Packard Bell, and other PC manufacturers. In 1997, Cyrix was bought by National Semiconductors. In 1998, Cyrix M2 433GP, which ran at 300 MHz and performed faster than AMD K6 300 on a few calculations. However, this chip was worse against actual 433 MHz processors from other manufacturers. In 1999, Via Technologies bought Cyrix and so got a license for manufacturing x86 compatible processors.